With time and technology developing, the controversy in regards to how much and if music could actually influence the brain has become a more relevant subject. Being musically knowledgeable and active does increase the usage of your brain and memory, or also known as the effect of the Mozart myth. Many researchers have claimed that with further musical training, it could then influence your brain's memory and attention span, mainly known by running IQ tests. Others doubt the actual improvements of the brain, claiming that music only teaches human emotions as there were no cognition improvements. Music helps increase focus, along with the attention span and memory. Even a year or two of music training leads to enhanced levels of memory and attention when measured by the same type of tests that monitor electrical and magnetic impulses in the brain. We therefore hypothesize that musical training, but not necessarily passively listening to music, affects attention and memory, which provides a mechanism whereby musical training might lead to better learning across a number of domains. The brain shows and indicates different signals leading to an increased focus, attention span, and even memory. With more modern technology, scientists and researchers have the equipments to locate the degree of how much music could actually affect the brain by measuring the magnetic impulses. The motor and listening skills needed to play an instrument in concert with other people appears to heavily involve attention, memory, and the ability to inhibit actions. Merely listening passively to music such as Mozart or any other classical composer does not produce the same changes in attention and memory. Stu states that music does have an effect on the brain by tracing the signals the brain sends out. To have a better cognitive response to music, a longer period of being actually taught music and studying music would be more responsive compared to just listening to music or even classical music. The skills needed to play an instrument involves many different parts of your brain just to direct your focus, memory, and the ability to inhibit actions. Practicing these acts of music overall increases certain parts of your brain's usage by involving complex perception, cognition, and motor control. Music could also be considered as a neurologic therapy, which is also used for enhancing one's motor skills, cognition, and perception for auditory language skills. Neurophysiological distinction is between certain sounds that can aid in literacy, which can translate into improved academic results for kids. Through research, music could help develop more advanced language usage for dyslexic children. With kids who are tone deaf, they often have a reduced or absent arcuate fasciculus, a fiber tract connecting the frontal and temporal lobes in the brain. Reduced or damaged arcuate fasciculus has been associated with various acquired language problems like aphasia and also dyslexia in children. Knowing that music could instead help strengthen auditory cortex responses, music became a popular choice for therapy. Many practices involve the usage of music to help stimulate memory for certain words or phrases. With more exposure to music, it stimulates the nervous system or brain waves, strengthening the brain's ability to capture different sounds from the distinct three consonants: pitch, timing, and timbre. Music holds an emotional depth that could help balance and relate people to others more emotionally with better cognitive functions. The healing powers of music used for therapy helps heal the brain along with further developments of motor functions. Motor function influences the auditory language, involving complex perception, cognition, and motor control in the brain, and thus it can effectively be used to retrain and re-educate the injured brain. By activating these more complex regions, the brain grows larger and increases the interactions made with surrounding factors that are essential for music, speech, and movement. Although music is thought to be and most commonly researched as a factor beneficial for the brain, there has been recent studies to show that it might not be as what we seem to believe. Contradicting many past researches and studies, Mayer did a more recent research to see how and if children that study music would have an overall increase of intelligence. His main focus for this was not to determine how high their IQ test placement would be, but rather an experiment testing 4 specific domains of cognition. The results showed no improvement for kids who were taught music. If there really is an effect of music training on children's cognition, we should be able to better detect it here than in previous studies, because these tests are more sensitive than the tests of general intelligence. While the music group did perform slightly better at one spatial task, there wasn't much of a difference between either groups in cognition, vocabulary, and mathematics. Mayer then conducted a second study with a larger group and concluded with the same results. To sum up this experiment, the group with musical training did better on specific spatial tasks, but did not seem to do particularly better in any other aspects. Chip Heath, a Stanford Graduate School of Business professor, defended this view, stating that there were no scientific research linking music and intelligence. With a rather small percentage of actual researches, Mayer concluded that the Mozart effect was just a myth and doesn't actually affect or help increase the smartness or intelligence of the brain. With only one recorded experiment concluding that the assumption of music potentially increasing the intelligence and usage of the brain was false. This theory, or Mozart myth, has more evidence towards the increase of cognitive brain stimulations, with your overall memory, motor functions, attention, and even emotional processing of human behaviors. Parents doubting and half-heartedly supporting their child's experience with music would be able to fully entrust and presume positive effects for their child's brain developments. Music can be thought of as a type of perceptual illusion in which our brain imposes structure and order on a sequence of sounds. Just how this structure leads us to experience emotional reactions is part of the mystery of music.